There are 4 handguns you must own for homestead, farm, and subsistence. And today we're going to show them to you. So buckle up. Hi everybody, welcome back to LocaCarnivore. Today, let's talk about the 4 handguns you must own for homestead, farm, and subsistence use. Try to say that 3 times fast. We're going to talk about these guns, and they're not necessarily specific handguns like go buy this brand or get this particular model or something like that. These are categories of handguns, and while they all have a certain amount of overlap, we're going to show you the most important one, or what I think is the most significant one that you really need to have at the end of the video, so stick with us. Well, the first one on our hit parade is a Rimfire handgun. Specifically, and why would you have a Rimfire handgun? Well, basically they're really important. They're super versatile, they're super useful. What you're going to find is you're going to need them for small game hunting and practice and dealing with like vermin and stuff around your homestead. Also, they're good for dispatching livestock or for dispatching game. You know, the coup de grace shot for that sort of purpose. And you're going to find that they're really useful. And the ammo is cheap, and at least these days is plentiful. So that's really a big advantage of the Rimfire handgun. And what kind of Rimfire handgun? Well, there are several types. Of course, you could get a semi-automatic, or you could get like there's even single shot break opens out there, used to be. And then there's revolvers, either single action or double action revolver. They're all good choices. Personally, I would recommend a double action revolver. And as you can see here in the B footage that I'm showing you, it's not, I don't have a Rimfire handgun. Shame on me for recommending it, but not owning one. I don't own a Rimfire handgun, but if I did, it would be a double action revolver, similar to what you're seeing here in a medium or a small frame type gun. This is a K-frame Smith & Wesson. They're available in 22, or you can get, you know, any brand. I don't have anything going with particular brands. You can get Ruger. There's some off-brands, offshore brands out there. There's plenty of stuff out there. But the big thing is I would recommend the double action revolver because they're easier to load than the single actions. And also that gives you the option of either a double action shot or a precise single action shot. So I like that versatility. I like the option that the double action revolver gives you. The semi-automatics can be fussy on their ammo. Some will feed certain loads and some will not feed certain loads, and some will hardly feed at all. Semi-automatic Rimfires have never been noted as paragons of reliability. So that's why I shy away from those. And then the single actions, well, they're kind of cool. And if you want the cowboy nostalgia thing, you know, the Peacemaker type ambiance or homage to that, that's fine. You can go get one and everything. But I find the hammer falls and everything tend to be a little heavier on those, and the lock times are a little longer than the double action revolvers. And then again, you don't get the option if you need some double action shots for whatever, like you're trying to take out a, unruly woodchuck or something like that that's moving around a lot and you need that, you know, fast follow-up shot. Single action revolver is not going to give you that. So there again, double action Rimfire revolver. Absolutely have to have that for homestead, farm, and subsistence. Okay, if you're liking the video, give us a big thumbs up, hit that like. Subscribe, we'd love to have you on the LocaCarnivore team, and make sure you ring that bell so you get notified every time we come out with a new video. Second, I would strongly recommend a big bore handgun. And here we're talking like anything from 10mm on up. That would be 10mm for a semi-automatic, like a Glock 20, which you're looking at right now. But there's others out there, Smith & Wesson, Smith & Wesson, Springfield. There's a whole, and there's even more out there now. There's just a whole bunch of semi-automatics. And of course, I have to include the 1911 and the 10mm. As you can see, the 1911 fanboy club paid a visit to me to make sure, hey, you better include the 1911 on this list. And so I have, but not just because of that. The 1911 and 10mm, superb platform. If you're a 1911 person, that's what I would go with. If you like Glock or striker fired guns, by all means, there's a bunch out there. Get one of those. Or you can go with a big bore double action or single action revolver, but I like the double action again because of why we're going to have this type of gun, and I'm going to get to that in just a second, so bear with me. So you want a double action heavy magnum, and I would start with a 41 Magnum. 44 is really nice because it's versatile. You can put 44 specials in it, or you can put the 44 Magnums in it, and come in a wide variety, and ammo is more plentiful. If you've got some problems with some really big carnivores like big brown bears or something, or polar bears, you might want to think about something above that. 454 Casull, 460 Ruger, on a 480 Ruger, excuse me, 460 Smith & Wesson, even the 500 Smith & Wesson. Although the ammo availability and prices get a little questionable with those really super, what I call the mega magnums. Now, why do you want a big bore gun if you've already got like other handguns or whatever? Specifically for two purposes. First, defense against predators, against large predators. And if you live in bear country, and a lot of homesteaders do, you already understand what I'm talking about. You need to have something that you can carry easily on your belt or a chest holster or whatever that can deal with the bears. And if you don't necessarily want a semi-automatic, the revolver is the choice. And again, double action is better for self-defense than single action. Much faster, much more reliable once you master that double action trigger pull. And then the other reason you want a big bore type handgun is for hunting. It makes a superb weapon for close-in hunting. And if you don't want to be using expensive rifle ammunition, or you're just in a kind of environment or situation where you don't need to use a rifle, or say a shotgun with slugs or something like that. Plus, it's really just challenging. And it's really, if you want to go back into some, hard to get in places or something, or you have to go up in a tree stand or something like that, handguns are really useful because your hands are free until you get the gun out of its holster. So it's very more portable. It's lighter than a rifle, and there's just less recoil. It's a little less noisy. I'll admit it though, 10 millimeter is really loud. I'm just stunned at how loud a 10 millimeter round is. But that is a good weapon to have, so it's double purpose. And of course, can the weapon serve as a self-defense weapon, a homestead defense weapon? Sure, it can do that. It's not maybe the best choice for that role, but it does a little double duty. However, its main purpose is going to be, like I said, defense against large carnivores and predators, and for hunting and providing meat. We could do much better quality videos than what you see day in and day out on the channel. We'd love to do higher quality videos. We'd love to go more on location, things like that. That costs money. You could support us two different ways at the channel. Go down to the link in the description to our Patreon, help out there, or you can go to the other link, which is to our LocaCarnivore website. You can get other content there, but more importantly, you can go to the store tab and get some really groovy LocaCarnivore merchandise, which helps us out. And the more budget we have, it's simple economics. We can make better stuff for you. Third gun I'd recommend, and again, this is not necessarily an order of desirability or you have to have this or the other thing, but I would strongly recommend a defensive-oriented handgun, either a semi-automatic or a revolver. I tend to lean to the semi-autos though for this role. And why do we need one? Well, let's face it, if you're on a homestead or you're in a subsistence area or something like that, if you have to defend yourself against human assailants, you're going to probably be pretty much on your own. You're going to be probably out there a little ways from other people who could help, who could come to your aid. You're definitely going to be a long way away from first responders getting to you, and a lot can happen in 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes. So you need to be able to hang on and hold your own against a human assailant. Best weapon for that? Well, frankly, it's a higher capacity semi-automatic firearm. 9mm probably be the best choice for ammo availability. It's the easiest to shoot. Not saying don't get a 40 Smith & Wesson, don't use a 10mm, don't use a 45 ACP. Again, if you like 45 ACP, if you're a 1911 person, get that. But you're going to be down on capacity, and frankly, in a self-defense handgun, most of the time you're going to have to solve the problem, whatever that is, with the gun, with the rounds that are on board the handgun at the time. Civilian defensive shooting seldom go to a reload situation where you need to get a different magazine into the gun. But so it's incumbent upon you to have as much ammo on board as possible. That's not to say 1911 or something is not a good gun, or a single stack of any variety and any caliber is not a good gun. If you like that, use it, but definitely have a defensive oriented gun. And defensive calibers, 9, even 380, 45, 40, those or downloaded FBI spec 10mm, those are your best bets for cartridge selection here, load selection, because they are easier to shoot. You can get more rounds accurately on target in rapid fire than you can with the super heavy guns, the heavy magnums, so that gives it a distinct advantage. Plus, you generally have higher capacities. Hey, what do you think about what I've been saying here? Do you have a particular favorite gun that you would think, or did I make the right choices for a subsistence farm or homestead handguns list? Is this a good list? Well, go down in the comments, let me know. If you don't like it, whine all you want. I'm sure I stepped on somebody's toes. I didn't mention their particular gun or whatever, but I'd love to hear from you, so go down in there. And while you're at it, don't forget to share this video. We'd love to have you spread this all around the world. Let us go viral. All right, I promised you what I think is really the most important handgun you need to have for homestead, farm, or subsistence use. And it's not necessarily a specific gun per se, well it is to a degree, but more caliber. And in this case, I think the have-to-have, do-it-all kind of handgun is really a .357 Magnum double-action revolver. Why? Well, simply put, if you load it with magnums, and even you can go heavy bear loads and things like that, you can use it for predator defense. It's maybe not optimal. It's not quite as good, in my opinion, as a 41 Magnum, 44, or even a 10mm. 10mm just hit way above their weight class for some reason. .357 though will get the job done, properly placed, and there's a wealth of self-defense ammunition available for the .357. And the .357 Magnum, despite all the other rounds that are out there, it still is, statistically speaking, if you look at the data from Evan Marshall and Ed Sano, people like that keep track of these sorts of things, it still ranks as the best one-shot stopper handgun load out there for self-defense use, especially the 125 grain load. You just can't go wrong with it. If you can deal with the recoil, obviously that can be an issue. So you can use it for self-defense, and it takes 38 specials. So we've got cheap, low recoil practice, and 38 special, oddly enough, in full metal jacket form, can be used for small game. I use it all the time. It's a terrific load, and if you got the double action revolver, you've got the choice of either double action for defense, or you can cock that hammer and get a nice crisp trigger pull for a very precise shot on like a rabbit or a grouse or something like that. And the full metal jacket bullets, they just zing right on through. They do dump enough energy to take care of the critter, but they don't just blow up the entire thing. So 38 special full metal jacket's really impressive, and I also like it for game dispatch and for slaughtering livestock, for when you're going to put them in the freezer. So it's just a superb all-around gun, and nothing beats a double action revolver for pointability. It's an instinctive pointing weapon, fantastic gun for self-defense. You're a little down on capacity, I admit, but you really need to have, in my opinion, a .357 Magnum revolver in order to have a complete homestead, farm, and subsistence battery of handguns. Well, there you go. That's my opinion of the 4 handguns you must own for homestead, farm, and subsistence use. And we really thank you for spending your valuable time here with us at the LocaCarnivore. And remember, the ultimate act of resistance is insisting upon facts. Thanks for watching.
Ha 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 ha!